Welcome back to another episode of Protein Bros Podcast, guys. I'm one of your hosts, Jeff Wasserman, and today is an awesome episode. One of my absolute favorites. I know I probably said that before, but I truly mean it. We just got done talking to Amanda and John from 2020 Fit, a great, unique gym here in Kansas City. It's a gym that has a CrossFit affiliation, but it also provides a ton more classes. It is a beautiful, unique Kansas City gym. They offer a lot of things. They can actually have 5 classes running at the same time, but they also have a CrossFit affiliation. They also provide yoga. There's boxing classes. There's high intensity interval training classes, lots of offerings, and they also have some really high quality coaching. We got to hear a lot about the standards that they hold. They have very high standards at the gym. They've been around since 2012, and their gym has expanded over double the size since then. So it's been exciting to hear what they've done as far as growth-wise. They have some really great stories to tell. They also provide fun things like contrast therapy. They have a beautiful 8-person sauna as well as a cold plunge that they offer their members. And we got to hear a lot of stories about how John got started with contrast therapy, even spent some time with Wim Hof out in Poland and once hiked a mountain with his shirt off in 14-degree weather. So if you guys haven't already, please like, subscribe, and share the podcast. It is the only way we grow. We want to support local fitness. If you are a fan of local fitness, please support our show by giving us a like, a comment, a share. It all goes a long way for us. And thank you so much for spending an hour with us each week. We very much appreciate you listening. And now let's get us to the show.
How long you been doing CrossFit?
So my first CrossFit workout was when I was 20, which means that was 10 years ago. No, I'm just kidding. 19 years ago.
Oh, nice.
That's crazy to think about.
That is crazy to think about. I turned 37 in, I think it's in
What are we doing here?
basically a month. And I was like, man, 37. Holy crap. 37, 39. You're just like, man, I'm basically 40 is how I feel.
You're there.
Yep.
But that's not the truth. So the first workout was way back then, but I didn't start doing it regularly until I was 25.
Yeah.
As my training program, 24, 25.
Yeah. So basically 2000. When did you say you opened the gym? 2010. You were basically pretty consistent.
Yeah. So the story is
You were in your garage, I thought, sir.
Well, I was doing Ironman triathlons. So 07, I did.
Oh, so you came into it out of shape.
Well, yeah, very kind of. Yeah. I mean, I was like 170 pounds. I'm 190 today and much healthier. But I did an Ironman in 2007. My girlfriend at the time said, this doesn't work for me. So, well, actually, no. She said, you're an idiot. And then I did it again because that's the natural progression. So I did it again in 08. And she's like, you can't do this anymore. So I took a year off. And I wanted to do another one, but I needed to figure out a way to train for it that was a little bit more condensed time-wise. Because I was training 20 hours a week.
Yeah.
You go for a 60-mile bike ride, and then you come in and run 10 miles, and it just blows up your whole weekend or your whole morning. And it was stressful. We'd be out to dinner. I'm like, I got to go because I got to get up in the morning. And so I just put a lot on her. So then I started doing this thing. I found CrossFit Endurance. This was social media was kind of happening.
It's like Jim Jones time frame.
Yes.
They were doing that for 300 and so forth.
Yes. So that 300 was that was my first taste of
those kind of style workouts, if you will.
Crush you into the ground.
Just making sure.
So fast forward, I see these CrossFit Endurance workouts that Brian McKenzie was putting on, and it was, instead of going for an 8-mile run, it was 8 200-meter sprints on the 90 seconds. So I started doing those, and I took my training time from 20 hours a week down to 6, and did better that year on the Ironman. And then friends started asking questions. And
so you did a full Ironman, basically with training CrossFit Endurance.
1,000%.
Wow.
Yeah, it didn't feel
That's
good
crazy.
on the day.
Yeah,
right.
But I was faster than the 2 prior that I had done.
Wow.
And what was the kind of training you were doing prior, the training that you did prior to the CrossFit Endurance?
Straight up triathlon training. Ride a bike for a long time, run for a long time, swim for a long time.
And then
rinse and repeat. And just grind yourself into the ground.
Right. What was the longest kind of endurance workout you did whenever you were training the CrossFit Endurance style?
So the first time I swam 2.4 miles was in the race. I don't recommend that. Well, yeah, I actually would.
So you don't know?
So you don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can swim a mile, you can swim 2, and if you can swim 2, you can swim 2.4.
This is his personality, like spot on.
Yeah,
go
it was
for
be
it.
fine.
I'll wing it.
I had ridden 100 miles on a bike, so the bike was 112, so I figured I'd be fine there. And then I'd never ran a marathon or had the desire to. I think I ran 10 miles leading up to it. But the point of that was my weekly training load was high. So I was running 50 miles a week. Just not in like big batches, if you will.
Sure.
Like
wasn't 20, then 12.
But you do that. Anybody who has done that, you just pound your body into the ground.
Oh, yeah.
There's nothing left.
So what was your athletic background before then? Because it seems crazy, especially that was the time before, social media. And I feel like it's more popular now to see people running and to see people doing CrossFit style of training. Like what got you into that?
I mean, I played high school sports like the average small town kid. I played football, basketball, baseball. Grew up in a really, really small town. But when I got to college, drinking is, you could say my family's really good at it.
Uh-huh.
And I was afraid when I got to college, I'm also very good at it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was afraid that if I kept going down that path, 1, I might not graduate. But 2, I might really just stick with this whole drinking thing.
Yeah.
And so my junior year, I needed an excuse. All your bros are like, oh, let's go out and party and let's get wasted. So I needed a legitimate excuse to not drink.
Yeah.
So then I started I joined the cycling club, and then I signed up for the Ironman. So then it was like, guys, on Saturday I got to do a 50-mile bike ride. And I'm like, oh wow, why? I'm doing the Ironman. No way, I've heard of that. So it gave me some credibility, so that I didn't have to be like.
You also,
if you backed yourself into a corner there.
If you have an addictive personality, you kind of, focus
you
that in
yourself.
A different.
Are you typically impulsive in the sense of being all about one thing whenever you decide to sign up for one thing?
Ooh, Amanda might be able to answer that better than me. I would say on the day of, I'm all in, but it's really hard to channel all my energy towards one thing for an extended period of time.
But you're always moving.
Yeah.
That's not accurate.
Yeah.
You do. You dedicate yourself to something if you have a task, but you still have a pulse on your other stuff.
It's hard to lock in and just only do one thing for an extended period of time. But so that's what kind of led me down the fitness journey of just establishing some guardrails. Because like you said earlier, does this come easy to everyone? And I don't think it comes easy to anyone. But what has made it easier for me is that I just give myself guardrails. And nowadays it's, it's going on a trip, or it's signing up for an event, or, making a stupid bet with somebody, that is those guardrails today. Cause with kids and a wife and business and all these other things, even though we work in a gym, fitness is not first. Mm-hmm. I wish I could say it is, but there's a lot of other things that are pulling at you. And that hour of the day that you make for yourself is usually for most of us, I hate to admit this, the last priority. You have to really work to make that happen, because it's not a squeaky hinge.
I give myself lunch every single day, and I tell him don't schedule anything over lunch. Right. Do not do
that's
it
your
because
guardrail.
Yeah. Because if I don't have that, then guess what I don't do? Yesterday we had to go to St. Louis. Guess what I didn't do? I didn't train.
I even asked him to, and he said no.
Said I want to. Well, I got 3 kids. I need to go home.
It's a fun role reversal. I had to at least make it documented on this podcast.
I'm trying to be a good dad. I need to get
work out. He said no.
This is true.
Documented.
It actually might be the first time that's ever happened in that order. But yeah, I was like, we need to go home. I got to go be with my kids. So I know exactly what you're talking about. Where it's you gotta have priorities.
Those guardrails, though, they've evolved over the years based on your life circumstances, situations, right? Have you had a transitionary period where someone might be in a situation right now that's listening that, they're having a hard time with, maybe they just became a mom, or maybe they started a new job or something like that? How did you know when it was time to make those adjustments?
God, that's a great question. It's really easy to play the pity card, and it's hard for me, and nobody else is going through the difficulties that I'm going through, and at the end of the day, that's not true. Everybody else is having a hard day, and I think you just look yourself in the mirror, is this the best me that I'm going to put out there? And for you talk about kids, that one is the easiest one for me. Like when you make the commitment to like bring up another human being in this world, you are also making a commitment to be the best version of yourself. So that one has been easier for me, because I think pre-kids, when we started the gym, it was really easy. When we first started the gym, it was really easy to be in shape because I was in there a lot, like training, and I had that like physical energy. Mm-hmm. And then like as the business started to evolve, the physical energy became less, and the mental energy became more. Like I had to spend more time mentally working on the business. Mm-hmm. So the transition there was, let's go back to guardrails. So I had this like background in fitness, and I was like pretty put together. And then I started training way less, maybe twice a week, like on average for a long time, like 5 years. The guardrails that I had put in place prior to that were my nutrition, my sleep, my hydration, like all the other components of it. So you talk about people who are going through different phases of their life, is what guardrail can you take with you? You know, whether that is one good workout session a week and then clean eating, right? Or like a good sleep regimen so that you can buffer against all the other things that are getting thrown at you. So that when you come out the other side, you know, you can put your foot on the gas pedal again.
Yeah, you can kind of go back to it.
But you're not this is a really important lesson, is you didn't go all or nothing. And so because you couldn't do it perfect.
That's a great point. Yeah, thank you for leading me to that.
Yeah. A lot of people do that. They just throw everything.
I mean, it's like 99% of people, including myself, up until a certain point in my life, it's the only way I thought of fitness was I want to be the most efficient. Mm-hmm. I want to make sure I do it exactly, and so the second that it can't be perfect, I tell myself, oh, what's the point, and you're all of a sudden just saying, what's the point of doing those good nutrition habits or those hydration habits? And, it's just control what you can control. Right. And it seems like you did a really great job of, planning, preparing, knowing what was going to be realistic, and what you can be consistent with. But
the other, I guess you could probably summarize this whole thing as guardrails, because it's people. Who are you spending time with, mm-hmm. and what habits do they have, and what habits are they pulling you into? And
so true.
If you're spending, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. If those 5 people are pulling you down, you need to stop and take a look around.
Yeah.
That's
something we always talk about in the stores, is like, you got to understand that you can have a conversation with somebody and you can motivate them and tell them all the right things and give them all the right information as far as what they need to be doing with their diet and, supplementation, and give them suggestions on where to go work out and what kind of workouts to do. But if they go home and they're going home to somebody who is, crabs in a bucket trying to pull them down, I mean, you have to warn people about that. You have to tell them that, hey, that's why we're big on doing group fitness stuff. So bringing people along to different workouts, because a lot of people go home to very, very terrible influences in their life, and if you have those terrible influences, eventually you give way to them most of the time.
Mm-hmm. And it's never personal, of course. Everybody's got, family and so forth that are just choosing a different lifestyle, but you just have to be real selective of who you give your energy to. Mm-hmm. Right.
Mm-hmm. Amanda, when did you start? 2018 is when you start CrossFit?
Yeah, I actually...
Before then, weren't you?
Uh-huh. Yeah. At Town Boxing Club. Yep. Yeah. Yep. I had never done CrossFit before. I was brand new to it. I came in and took classes for my interview process, and I was like familiar with it. I mean, I was an athlete my whole life. Very familiar with like Olympic lifts and things like that, but the whole just CrossFit spectrum was very eye-opening to me, and I kind of I went all in. Like, I was really excited about it. I definitely was like, holy cow, I'm not going to be able to coach this because I can't do this movement. I can't do this movement. But it doesn't even come down to that. Like, to this day, I can't do a muscle up, but I can coach you through it. So it was kind of cool to see that side of it coming into it, where I was like, I'm in shape, and I was not.
Yeah.
So.
But you also came to the table with experience in managing gyms, and understanding, group fitness already.
Yeah.
You can also beat anybody up pretty easily.
I can.
Could you knock Jeff out still, you think?
I never have.
I had a good jaw.
I don't know. You'd have to do something really bad or hurt my dog or something. And then
you never have to worry about that with me.
Yeah, good.
Jeff is a dog lover. You don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, we're good then. So my experience before 2020 was very different in a fitness world. I was your typical group fitness, high intensity, energy all the time, on a microphone all day, every day, that type of energy. And I still love that stuff, but I also needed to find the balance of, can I teach and give everyone my full potential? And then I need my admin side of things. So like when I talked to John, he'll probably tell you the story. My interview with him.
When I first met you?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I didn't have a voice.
She didn't sound like this.
I could not speak. And I was like mortified to even show up for this interview. I was like, this guy's going to think that I am like, I've got a problem or something. But it was because I was just draining myself with like coaching 30 hours a week, like just nonstop, like the pounding, that kind of stuff.
And not just in one place too. You're all.
No, I was
all
at
over
like,
the place.
at this point, I was at coaching at 4 different places. And that was like my full-time job, was just coaching. And
this is all at Title, all 4 places were different Title gyms or studios?
Different studios, yeah. So I was coaching at Title Boxing Club. I was coaching at Woodside, Mission Hills, and somewhere else. But Health House. Yeah. I was at all 4 places. And I just didn't like this industry. I wanted to find a career. So, and I knew I couldn't keep up with this. I was coaching, 4 different places with 4 different management styles, things like that. And meeting John, he was like, you could have a career here. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, well, how do you do that? And they had a full-time position. And I was like, you can see my voice right now and hear me. I can't coach 40 hours a week. I need that balance. And he was like, you can have a part of the business where this is your niche. Like, you coach 20 hours a week and then you're going to be in charge of something. And I was like, wow, this is really cool. So I knew I was a little nervous because my background is boxing and boot camps and high intensity and me being your cheerleader. And this is going to challenge me in the CrossFit world. I need to go cue, comment, correct every single person and how they move and longevity. And there's different goals rather than just pounding them into the ground for 45 minutes. So it was really cool that I, 1, was challenged as a coach in a completely different way. And then 2, I was like having a path to go forward in a business way as well. So props to John. He's, again, created this environment where we all can have this, in this industry, that it's kind of like you either coach, you're a GM, or you're like, don't have like the growth aspect of it. And in my 3 years here, I've gone from just a coach to coach, social media manager, coach, social media manager, now to a general manager. So I can do it all. But I feel like the path was set up for me personally in this way, or like anybody that walks through our door as an employee, you have the opportunity to get your own path going. Like if you're a coach, but then you only want to, maybe are in charge of the coaches or like the training, the programming side of things, like you can go down that path. Or we have somebody who's coaching 20 hours a week, but then they're in charge of our facility. So I like that we all just kind of have a good career.
It's an extension of the business. So it's fun that you're not just, a lot of people are coming in, coaching, going home.
Yes.
But having that admin, kind of responsibility on top of whether it be
it
the facilities, social media manager,
it
genuinely puts you through the paces of owning the business, of actually thinking the performance of this gym matters, how it looks matters, right?
Yeah.
But the other part to me that the reason we've gone this direction and not just, we do have several part-time people, but at the end of the day, I look at the impact that our team has on our clients on a day-to-day basis. And no offense to any doctors out there, but if you have a 15-minute doctor's appointment with somebody, you can only get so much work done. You can't fully understand what they're going through day to day, what ailments they're having, what their nutrition looks like, what's their sleep, what are their sleep habits. In one 15-minute session once a year. Yet your doctor drives a BMW and goes on nice vacations and makes a nice living. So the way we look at it is we're creating an impact on our community. The people that come in that are there 3, 4, 5 times a week, we get to be a part of everything that they're going through and help shepherd them throughout the course of their year and create a huge impact. So it would be a disservice to our clients if it was a revolving door of part-time coaches that were just coming in, coaching a class, leaving. With a full-time team, which is 80+% of the people that we have coaching classes, they have the opportunity to build relationships with our clients. They get to know them, what they're going through, and have some tenure. So they've been around. They know what to expect when you walk in. And if you look a little tired, we know what that looks like, right? Or if you're moving a little, if you're a little stiff, we know what that looks like. And so
and being able to sub movements, like if somebody has some
the
kind
investment goes beyond the gym; it goes into the people there as well.
But it's our team. So it's like if we can keep our team, give them a career path to keep working down, that's great for them. Like someone needs that on our team. It's great for me because I like having consistent people around that I get to work with, and it's excellent for our community.
Yeah.
Who now, they know somebody when they walk in the door, and that person knows them.
For our listeners that maybe haven't been to your gym, can you give our listeners a rundown of what your gym and basically how it functions and how it's a little bit different than other gyms?
Sure. So our core values are work hard and be kind. And what we do, we come in every day and we just expect you to put your best foot forward, whatever that is today. Some days that's sit on the bike and just
20 minutes slow pace,
whatever. That's great. You came in, you check the box for the day. Other days it's a hero workout and it's full send. The be kind piece of it is we want 2020 Fit to be a place where everybody feels comfortable. Doing this whole workout thing is hard, right? You got a lot of other stuff we talked about earlier, like a lot of other things on your plate. You got family, you got work, you got all these other distractions. The last thing we want is somebody to come into our gym and feel uncomfortable. You're going to feel uncomfortable, out of breath. You're going to feel uncomfortable. Your legs are burning, but we don't want you to feel uncomfortable like people don't like you. So I think the proudest moment that I've experienced over the course of this business is just hearing that our people are really nice. Like, great, you can squat 400 pounds. I don't care. Great that you can do a 2-minute Fran. I don't care. Are you nice to people? And if the answer is yes, we've got a spot for you. And we've even seen people who are not very friendly when they come in, and all of a sudden they open up and find a community. So we do group-based fitness, and what you look for people who have seen a CrossFit gym is what you see. We're practicing some version of CrossFit, and I always like to say, like, with an asterisk, it's for normal people. And we have total freaks in our gym, and those make up a very small percentage of the population. People who track their macros and take all the proper supplements and sleep 8 or 9 hours a day and treat themselves like athletes. And then there's the rest of us yahoos like myself that are like just trying to keep it together and stay fit enough for our daily life. So that's where it's like CrossFit for normal people. For people who don't know what that means, it's functional fitness. We run, we do push-ups, we squat, we do deadlifts. We're doing body weight stuff, we're doing cardio stuff, and then we're weightlifting. The weightlifting is governed by where you are, not the person next to you. So Jeff, you're going to lift a lot more than me, right?
Don't give him that.
But I don't care.
Stop it.
It doesn't affect my workout at all.
Yeah, we're not ego lifting here.
No, so I might have 100 pounds on the bar. You might have 200 pounds on the bar. We're still
maybe
doing
300, Kyle.
Yeah, maybe
even 300, Kyle. All right,
we're still doing the same version of difficulty for us. We have people who are like chronically ill, and we have people who are professional athletes, and then everybody in between. So that's kind of our bread and butter. We have a 50-minute version, a 30-minute version. Amanda says she doesn't like pounding people into the ground for 45 minutes, but she's got a great class called Burn that we do, and it is what she talked about that she was doing 30 hours a week.
Sprinkled in now.
Yeah, sprinkled in. We've got a boxing class, and we've got a golf-specific class as well as a yoga class. So you think of our main offering is like strength and conditioning for a lot of our demographic is moms and dads.
Mm-hmm. General population, if you will.
Gen Pop.
Yep.
And people who want to look good, feel good, and there's no and not only now, but like 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 30 years from now, how are the choices that you're making today and the guardrails, like going back, how are the guardrails that you're establishing setting you up for success? And one of those guardrails for us is like, you might be the individual coming off the street to get in shape. Well, then now you got your little crew. You come to the 415 class or the 1215 class, and you got these people that are now your guardrails. And then so if I haven't seen Amanda in a couple of days, I'm like, hey, where are you at? Right. So now I'm able to pull her back in or vice versa. So
accountability gives you the accountability
that's everything. Cause you're going to go through lows. When everybody joins, they're on that high, and the first 90 days is relatively easy because they're paying this money now and they've got to go. And then they go on a vacation, and then they need a vacation from the vacation, and then they get a little sick, and then they stub their toe, and then
and the holidays came. And
Oh yeah. If you go, if you stick with it though long enough with any kind of training program, when I go on vacation now, I get the itch to like get back to normal life and specifically get back to training. Because if I don't train or get my heart rate up, for enough days in a row, it like drives me insane. It makes me want to crawl out of my skin now.
So one thing I'll say with that, and this is just to encourage everybody listening, myself included, do you brush your teeth every day?
Yeah.
Even when you're on vacation?
Yes.
Isn't that wild?
At least once.
So you brush.
I know where you're going with this.
Yeah,
I do for the most part.
I know. So I'm not here to give you a hard time, but like people think this whole fitness and activity thing is something that you just do.
Yeah.
Like when everything is good and you're in your routine and it's day to day, and I call BS on that. It's like you do it every day.
Yeah.
And you got to move your body every day.
Yeah.
Motion is lotion. If you're only coming in and training 3 days,
I like it. Motion is lotion.
Well, it is, and if you're only training 3 days a week, what are you expecting to get 150 training sessions out of the year? You're going to get sick at some point. You're going to have a downtime. So I just look at it as like it's a part of your daily life. And again, going back to the guardrails, it doesn't have to be magic. Mm-hmm. Some days I'll put my like ruck plate on and like do stuff around the house. Right. It's like not dramatic.
Just one point of intentionality.
Yeah, like I'm gonna pop down on the ground. In May we did 22 push-ups every day for Mission 22 and raising awareness for veteran suicide. And like hop on the ground and do 22 push-ups.
Yeah.
It's gonna take you. The worst pusher-upper ever is gonna take you maybe 2 minutes. Somebody who can knock out 22, it's gonna take 30 seconds. Mm-hmm. But it's something, and it's you saying that I took control of my day. You brushed your teeth, so to speak. So
that's good. That's very good advice for anybody that's listening. And like you were saying, I think the people underestimate like what going for a walk can do for you. So like the
mentally and physically.
Yeah, mentally and physically. Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be a 5 mile. It doesn't have to be perfect.
Right.
It doesn't have to be.
It doesn't have to be exactly the amount that you did yesterday. Or you know what I mean, or for what you did for a week straight. Yeah, exactly. Just one little point of intentionality.
Here's a question. So this is something I struggled with. Is once my family started growing and me and my wife started having kids, did you struggle at all with the drop off in fitness? Oh, that eventually came.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still struggling with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm struggling with it.
Yeah.
Not letting it be. Like I'm still trying, like there's certain things that today I'm probably better at, like riding a bike. I'm better at than I was pre-kids because now we're doing that a lot more often, right? I'm not as strong as I was, but I'm struggling, to be after it. I think ego-wise, I know what I can do, what I've done, so I think I can do it, and it's a great way to get hurt. I think I've started to figure that out, like not doing that. Mm-hmm. But as long as struggling with it is different than just like letting it be. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, I had kids. Oh, I got married. Oh, I got a new job. And then just let that take over. No, you still fight like hell, but you might just lose some battles as long as you don't win or lose the war.
I had a conversation with my good friends yesterday. I got a bachelor party coming up, and he's talking to me about the details of it and so forth. And he's just talking to me about my fitness, and I'm talking to him about his, and he's been struggling. He's got a kid recently, and he's like, man, I feel like I'm really turning a corner. Like I'm really getting this. He's like, man, I'm really going to start heavy as soon as we get back from your bachelor party. I don't have 20 minutes to tell you how that was just so so backwards. So he's saying like, I'm really feeling like I'm turning a corner. He's like, we
when's
just had
the bachelor party?
It's next Wednesday is when it starts.
So he's like,
thank you. Yeah.
When's the day?
September 28th.
Okay, wow, you're just before Amanda.
when's your wedding?
November 2nd.
Oh, congratulations as well.
Thank you.
Young love.
Wow.
Looking forward to it. Yeah, appreciate the young part.
Soon you guys are going to be experiencing the same thing we're talking about.
I know.
Fitness falling off. No, I'm just
so the point with that is, the best time to plant a tree is when?
Yesterday. 20 years ago.
20 years ago.
Right. And then if not, then today.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah. Second best time, right now.
So,
or after your bachelor party.
After your bachelor party, if you want to say, I'm going to wait for everything to be ideal.
Yeah, but it's never ideal.
Exactly. Which is like, how many times do you have to hear that phrase before it genuinely sinks in? Because I think everybody's heard that many times before they live it. You know what I mean? So often I'm like, he could probably recite that phrase back to me. You know what I mean? But it's like, don't you see that that's what you're doing in this moment?
It's
way easier to say that than it is to say, yeah, it's like, I'm like, the phrase that we need to start saying in those situations. And it's like, I've taken on the role of trying to help my friends, you know, help them be more accountable to themselves. And it's just like, you mean you just don't value it enough yet? You know, and then it's like, oh, that hurts way harder.
That is a jab. Yeah.
You know, like, you mean you just don't value it enough yet? Like, you don't really value it? Because if you value it, you just do it, right? And then he'd be like, ugh. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, that's really the truth.
I think fitness is kind of an acquired taste too, where it's like, a lot of people, let's say somebody hasn't been working out for an extended period of time, and they feel in their head like, well, if I'm really working out, I can't just throw a plate carrier on and, you know, walk around my house and do chores and stuff like that. That's not really working out, right?
I got to go do it the way I used to always do it.
I have to make myself feel terrible, and then that's working out. And it's like, you know, just getting through to people where it's like, you don't have to go. Just do something, you know.
They were saying this, like, it just takes a little bit of intentionality of how you're going to move your body that day, and make sure that you are pushing yourself every once in a while. Make sure that you are making it hard. Make sure that you are getting in the discomfort. But sometimes that discomfort's just going on that walk.
Yeah.
You know.
Another coworker and I yesterday were at it's called like a female athlete program, something that KU hospital is putting on now. They're partnering up with the KC Current women's soccer team, and it got brought up, and it was like, what is one of the big things that you guys see in young females struggling with? And it's pushing themselves too hard every day, or for perfection. And it's like, they talked about Whoops and Apple Watches, and how it's like, I have to get my calorie goal, or I have to hit this strain every single day.
Certain amount of steps.
And they think that it has to happen in a certain way. And I'm so guilty of this too. Like, I'll take a CrossFit class and my strain's up super high, but then I'll go like do a strength session by myself and it's not as high. And I'm like, oh no, I didn't work out enough today. But no, I accomplished my goal for the day, whether that strain says 13 or it says 4. So I think from a female perspective too, it kind of just, it gets in your head a lot. Where it's like, the movement doesn't have to be perfect. Just move your body. Like, again, if the walk is good enough for you today, then you accomplished your goal. You checked it off of your list.
And then walk wasn't your excuse to go say, well, now I've earned this cheat.
Correct.
Yes. Too, right?
Yes. That's another side of it. Yeah.
And while we're on this topic, sorry to cut you off here, Kyle.
Don't cut me off.
This is like, I don't want to lose this thought, because I think this is interesting. When we're talking about just, you know, kind of like the reward system for people. What kind of culture is your gym creating, right? I've been going to Orange Theory for the last few weeks, and so they always reward how many classes you've done. So they want you to come to class, right? So I get to hold a sign up on my like 10th class or the 500th class, or somebody recently hit their 1,000th class, which was crazy, right? Do you guys do anything? Because I fell victim, in quotes, of ego lifting when I was doing CrossFit a couple of times, where, you know, I know it's just me versus me in quotes, but then my ego is there, and I'm watching other people, how that behavior is being rewarded based on maybe a big PR or someone being able to hit a muscle up. And now you can't help but play the compare game. And so in my head, I'm like, I did not do well in that CrossFit culture at that time, because I just felt like I wasn't even remotely close to what was getting the most reward. Yeah. As far as verbally, right?
I think for me personally, as a coach, you know, the strength on the board can say like, you know, we're squatting back squat today, 70%. I, as a coach, will make sure I say, you do what is 70% for you today. Like, you don't let your ego get in the way. Even if you always partner with your same person lifting and they're going to do their full potential today, like, if today was hard enough for you to get here, like, you don't have to do your exact 70%. You don't have to do what it says on the board. Like, I think the culture is, we are trying to let people allow themselves to not be perfect or not push themselves too hard. We want you to come back the next day. Yeah. That's our goal.
The reward is they came back the next day.
That's correct.
Like,
okay. Do you have any scalable, I guess, like systems in place for this, though, as far as how you reward your members?
I mean, a big piece of it is tenure. You know, we celebrate anniversaries, we celebrate birthdays, and you know, so those are like systematic, if you will.
Yeah.
I think day to day for me, what I celebrate when I'm coaching is movement. Like, how are you moving today? Like, I don't care if you have 300 pounds on the bar. Are you moving full range of motion? You know, or if you have somebody who's using 35 pounds and you know they could be using 100, like we want to encourage that person to move well and stay within themselves for the day. So that again, the reward is we get to come back and do it again tomorrow.
On the antithesis side, are you guys rolling out bigger weight if somebody's like you feel like they're being
sure?
Oh yeah,
yeah. You're like
that's
you're going to use this dumbbell today, actually.
Yep. Well, that's just building confidence in people, right?
Yes.
So it's just kind of like saying, "Hey, you're ready. You're moving great."
Oh,
yeah.
I feel like
sometimes they just need the allowance.
Yeah,
or like,
they need somebody to
the permission.
pat them on the ass and say like, "You can do this," right?
Mm-hmm.
Figuratively. It seems like I don't want to get anybody in trouble. With you, it's like it seems like
with me, Jeff.
With you, Jeff. Yeah. Those watching on YouTube, I'm pointing at Jeff. It seems like you just didn't have a coach that taught you the right way to think about things.
No doubt,
right?
Oh yeah, no doubt.
It's like
I was immature for sure.
Yeah, if you have,
it's easy to get caught up in that.
Yeah,
I've been at gyms like that.
Where it's like, you know, and this kind of goes back to what you were saying is being so wrapped up in the whoop strain and this and that. And it's like doing things for external reasons, for external validation versus like doing them because like, I want to be healthy. If you have the overall mindset of like, I'm doing this to be healthy, I'm doing this so I can play with my kids for a longer period of time, you know, and
when you're under
get
30 years old though, do you really think about your health? And I mean, when I say that sincerely, I mean like in the sense of like your blood pressure and your heart rate. And I thought about how I looked in a swimsuit
100%
in my 20s. And
it's
so
I was just thinking how big is my bench?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. You know what I mean? Like, so all I'm getting at is like, it's not like, I wish that I could value that at a younger age. I wish that someone would have beaten that into my head at a younger age.
When I see 22-year-olds focusing on their health, it's
tremendous.
I'm so happy for them.
Yeah.
Is the tide not turning a little bit though?
It is.
I think it is.
Yeah.
So there's 2 girls I train right now. Granted, they're college athletes, so they have the guidance of like, they need to perform well. But like, they're coming into, we offer another class called Sweat and Stretch. They're coming into mobility classes. They're coming into like, prep their body to be able to perform at the level that they're at.
My God, I wish I would have done that when I was that age.
Amazing.
They're soft,
they're stretching.
Yes.
What?
Like I never did that unless I was told to in practice.
I'd come foam roll my IT bands and be like, all right, I'm ready to squat as heavy as I possibly can.
Yeah. So I hope that trend is going there. I mean, especially I'm a huge, you know, female athlete proponent. So I hope that trend is going there, but I mean, yeah, I never thought about that before I was 30.
It's
you were a college athlete, right?
Yeah,
you played soccer,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
That's probably, is that the transition why you decided you wanted to stay in the fitness industry?
Yeah.
Is purely because you liked the training aspect of?
I did. I was the type where I knew I couldn't sit at a desk all day and I just couldn't find my path. And long story short, I've been on my fair share of injuries. I've had 7 ankle surgeries and tore my ACL and other stuff. So I always thought I was like, okay, I could maybe be a physical therapist. But then I was like, I don't know. It's just like one patient at a time. And you just like are kind of doing maybe, I don't know. It just wasn't for me. And then I started doing group fitness after I wasn't allowed to play soccer anymore. And I was like, whoa, this is for me. And I just kind of like found that path forward that way. And luckily one of my best friends was managing Tata Boxing Club, and I started taking classes there, and then I started working there, and that's just kind of how like it funneled into this is what I'm meant to do.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, the big thing with you know, CrossFit, it seems like they went through like a little bit of an issue with the branding of CrossFit a couple of years ago.
Big time.
They were getting
Don't
canceled.
get John started.
No, I mean, I'll get into this pretty good, and I hope they're listening.
Are you affiliated with CrossFit?
We do pay the affiliation fee.
Okay. To this day.
I didn't know if you guys were still paying the affiliation.
And had you since day one?
Yes.
Okay.
We went on pause there for a while during the whole Twitter scandal.
Sure.
With Greg. But anyway, I loved it early on. So as an entrepreneur, you get a checkbook out and you write a check for $3,000 and you take out liability insurance and they anoint you a CrossFit gym. You have to have your level one. You have to have your level 1. So for $5,000, I have a business, and I'm thinking this is pretty amazing. Wow, like they're not going to tell me what to do. They're not going to tell me what shirt to wear. They're not going to tell me how to program. They're not going to tell me what location to go into. They're not going to tell me anything. And for me, that's really good.
Right.
Because I want to do it the way I want to do it, which is very much not
the antithesis of a franchise.
Like, for example, we have a requirement. This may be silly, but you have to wear your shirt. Okay? And we do that to protect people who are uncomfortable for, I could be a D-bag just like the rest of them and rip my shirt off and feel super comfortable. But there could be a 65-year-old woman next to me who's like, this is her first day. She hasn't worked out in 30 years. And she's like, there's this guy sweating all over the place and he had his shirt off. And now she goes home and tells her friends. And now the people who can afford to come to us, have the time to do it, are intimidated by it. So, that's one just like silly example. But we have
there's a real why behind it.
We have a shirt policy. So anyway, going back to the founding of it all, I thought it was great. They're going to let me start my business. They're going to let me do whatever I want to do, which is the way I wanted to do it anyway. And I wanted to not be. There was a gym here in town since it's gone out of business. Is pretty much the reason we started a gym here, because I saw that place and I was like, wait, people pay to go here? I'm like, and they treat you like that and they talk to you like that. Like, I'm starting a gym. So long story short, it was great to get started, but that also meant that anybody could open a gym. Okay, so you got $5,000. Okay, cool. You can you spin up a little business, and a lot of people who started CrossFit gyms back in the day were just bros that like wanted to be in a gym, and then like people started offering to pay for it, and they started in their garage, of course, and next thing you know, they have 100 members. And now they're like trying to figure out how to run a business, how to keep a facility clean, how to order proper equipment, supplies, payroll, taxes, and managing a lease, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then they stumble their way into this business and they start doing a really crappy job on the floor, start doing a really crappy job coaching and allowing people to overload. It's RX or die, right? Women, load your bars for 65 pounds. Guys, load your bar for 95 pounds. We're starting the workout in 2 minutes. Huh? What just happened?
Right.
Like
gym fails, shoot through the roof.
Yeah. So my problem with CrossFit is also the thing that I loved most about it starting out, which is they were out of my way.
No regulation.
Don't talk to me. Yeah. I don't need you. I don't want you. Okay. But that's also the problem.
Then over time, you're getting, your brand's getting affiliated with that.
So we dropped CrossFit. We were 2020 CrossFit in 2012. We dropped the name CrossFit. We never put a sign up because I knew I was not committed to the CrossFit name. We dropped the CrossFit name in 2016.
So never,
which was before.
Hold on.
Before it was
this is crazy.
To drop the name
way back.
This is crazy. You never had CrossFit in your name ever.
We did.
Not on signage.
Our website was 2020crossfit.com.
Yeah, okay.
But not on your signage on the building, which is crazy.
It is crazy because if you think about like 2010 to 2015, CrossFit was like peaking. Mm-hmm.
But it was still negative for us.
Yeah.
It was still, for people who didn't know us or didn't know any of our clients, they're like, dude, I don't want to do. I'm going to get hurt if I do that.
Right.
Because and this was like when the games were coming on, and I was like, oh my God. I remember telling Brittany, like, this is it. Like, we're on ESPN now. Everybody's going to think this is awesome. Guess what the games did for us?
It intimidated people.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Right.
Because they see these absolute animal, like professional athletes, and doing these amazing things, and then people are, I can't do. We talked before. If I can't do it perfect, I'm not going to do it at all.
How could I compare myself to that?
Right.
But I use the analogy. Okay, you guys watch the Chiefs, or we watch the Packers.
Yeah.
You guys are Packers.
Go Pack, go.
We've got an AFC team and an NFC team.
Respect.
I'll allow it.
So anyway, you watch the Chiefs, and that doesn't preclude you from going in the backyard to throw a football.
Yeah.
Nobody's afraid to go in the backyard to throw a football. Yet when you watch these fitness freaks who are legendary do what they do on the games, you now associate that with what we do. Mm-hmm. We are in the backyard at 2020 Fit. We were in the backyard throwing a football. Yeah. We're like,
it doesn't take much to convince someone that they don't have to work harder.
No.
And so all I'm getting is like, it's like if they tried 5% of problem solving on that, of like, oh, would I be expected to do any of these things as far as what I see on like no. It would have taken just go into your guys' Facebook page back then and you'd have known right off the bat, like this is different.
What's funny is
I'm with you on as far as the branding of it from the beginning, just to at least open up consumer behavior to where they actually are even considering the idea. It just removes you from their radar.
A lot of people had a friend who did CrossFit and somebody hurt their shoulder and somebody did this and somebody hurt their back.
In my experience, the funny thing about it is most people, once you get them into the gym, the ones that are most reluctant, if you can get them into the culture, keep them in the culture, keep them motivated, teach them the right way to think about fitness, they're the ones that are the most pumped when they do their first, like,
they're your biggest cheerleader.
Yeah. When they get their first pull up or something like that, it's like, but they have to be brought into the right gym in the right situation and not, be exposed to, like you were saying, like the gym bro that's going to be like, it's 95 pound snatches, Susie, that's 60. You got to do it.
That's what the workout says.
No, it's hard. Do it anyway.
Yeah.
The struggle, as far as, the CrossFit name, like you were saying, as far as bringing in general population clients, was there another fad that was going on at the time that you felt like you guys were heavily competing with in some capacity? Like, where were your people going if they weren't coming to you? You know what I mean?
That's a great question. There wasn't. I mean, there was other CrossFit gyms at the time. There were several more.
I know Meshuggah's been around a long time.
Yep. Sky's Limit was down the street. Boot Camp Fitness was down the street. There was another one.
On Track and Olathe, are they that old as well?
I think they were around. Yeah. I will admit I'm terrible about getting outside my bubble.
Sure.
When I say I live 400 yards from the gym, I literally do, and that's kind of my world, like that little corridor. So I do a bad job getting around, and really when we were starting off, it was like head down, focused on what we were doing. There was Fusion Fitness, there was Health House.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Fusion Fitness was at 135th and Metcalf there for a minute, right?
Yep.
They were at 80th.
There was
another one.
They
but it was a class-based workout.
I don't know. Was there title boxing back then? I'm sure
there was.
They were off state line, yeah.
But it was just like I think, we moved here in 2016, and I found it's been so fun to watch the fitness industry change while living here, just our fitness community and how it's evolved.
There weren't Orange Theories. There were not F45.
None. No F45s, no Orange Theories, and none of the and there's upgrade training that's out of Zone 6 that they created, which is a very similar concept, right?
Yep.
There's just been a lot of new concepts, and there's ones that have gone out, but for the most part, it's been fun to watch local fitness, I think, become the forefront of the community. Well, if only we could figure out how to get everybody to have one membership together, we could compete with Genesis. But as of now, that's not it. But it's interesting to see, kind of like you were saying, when CrossFit was really peaking, how did it help the gyms? And it's like, well, it didn't really. And it just made the perception of what it was going to be before they got there become that much more big of an obstacle.
Well, what the advantage we had at the time is, so fast forward to today, most of the people who are joining have been at another gym. They've done an Orange Theory. They've done
they're ready to kick it up
Genesis.
a notch,
they've
basically.
been at Woodside. They've been they've been at F45, and nobody talked to them, or they just didn't feel they didn't mesh with the community, and then they dive in head first. So going back to where we were in 2012, every single person that we had for the first 3 years never done CrossFit in their life. We were there first. Right, they had never been to a CrossFit gym or any I'd go so far as say group fitness, had not done group fitness. So
I never cycled a barbell, things like that too.
No. So it was a great opportunity because you're teaching everybody how to do things correctly the first time. Where now we get a lot of these people in today who are beasts, but my God, we got to start from scratch. Mm-hmm. And being strong and being fit. And then having somebody tell you to slow down.
Yeah, they slap the 300 pounds on their bar and they're going maybe halfway down.
That's a tough pill to swallow for people.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what the differentiator between back then and now is re-instructing, if you will, because it got pretty loose. Everybody's trying to fill their doors, everybody's trying to pay their lease, and quality kind of got second fiddle.
Right.
Are you guys, are you seeing a lot of younger people starting up with you guys?
A lot more than we have.
Lately, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably the last 2 years, way more than we ever had.
Yeah.
Kind of
it seems like, because we're relatively the same age. It's like, when we were kids, it was just meathead stuff for the most part.
Yeah.
So even hearing you getting really into triathlons was interesting to me because I felt like fitness was so you just go to the gym and you're going to do curls,
pump it up,
and you're going to do some
body
squats.
part a day.
You're going to curl in the squat rack. That's what, the big thing was. And it's like, now it seems like younger people are more interested in being athletic than they were, 20 years ago.
Running is really turning it on right now. I feel like just the trend of being a part of a run club is going bananas.
Well, but it's not the running, in my opinion.
It's the community.
The people.
Yeah, it's a club.
People, if they're not going to church, or if you work behind a screen all day and you're not talking to people, like, you need something. Right. You need a gym, a club, a church, like somewhere to bring you together. So, running is a productive way to do it.
No doubt. You can't not feel good, running with like-minded people and so forth.
And it used to be, like, I bartended, and it used to be the bar. Like, I remember, like, the bar in our town was like a meeting place, and you would, like, come together, and that's where you'd bump into all your people. And I think people nowadays know that, like, it's probably not a productive use of your time, and it's like the science is kind of out, like alcohol is kind of bad for you. So, whether it's a cycle, my brother does a Tuesday night bike club, or, a Wednesday night run club, or whatever it is. I think it's all productive and positive.
I want to talk one more thing about the business side of things for 2020 Fit. You seem, John, to have like a really good system going right now, as far as just the hardest parts is just how to find good people and how to compensate them well. They want to stick around for a long time, and also motivate them to want to build relationships with your members. You're not, on the name of the brand affiliated with CrossFit. It seems like you're very ready to scale to another location. What's holding you guys back from that, or is that coming?
So it's funny. We just had a really in-depth meeting today, beating ourselves up on all the things that we're doing terribly. Yeah. And which is a good, which is something that we do on a weekly basis, because we
always striving for
as much as we want
to relate to that.
as much as we want to pat ourselves on the back for what we've accomplished, I always kind of look at where we are as like, we haven't done anything yet.
Right.
And you talk about process and getting all our systems in place. For us, it's absolutely knocking out of the park and we have high standards, both Amanda and I, and then everybody else on our staff. And our community has high standards too. So I'll give you two parts of the story. One, we're not there yet. We still feel like we can do a better and better job with what we have, so that it is that much easier to open a second location. Could we open a second location? Yes. I have a guy in my inbox right now with this great facility that would be perfect for us. And we could jump on that, and we could like figure out a way to make it work. And I've done that game before. It's super, super stressful. It's going to grind everybody to a pulp, and it's going to erode what we currently have. So we feel like where we are, we kind of caught lightning in the bottle with being in this perfect location. And, for us, like right inside this neighborhood, great facility. So going back, we wanted to add a second location 5 or 6 years ago. And instead of doing, and then 3 years ago, I had an offer to buy another building to open another location. Fortunately, that ended up falling through, and the seller became a client out of the deal. So, which ended up working out great. But long story short, instead of adding a second location back in 2018, 2019, we bought the building and we added on. So we added on 8,000 square feet to a 7,000 square foot building. And
wow.
That's what you see today.
Yeah, over doubled it.
Yeah, so it was like, let's do this really, really well before we kind of, I don't think our model, and Amanda can speak to this, I don't think our model is retail, is going into a 4,000 or 5,000 square foot retail spot. Our model and what we're kind of discovering right now is like, I want you to not quit our gym, but quit our class. So if you're tired, you don't want to go to our, you don't want to get beat down and come to a 50-minute class today. You want something a little bit lighter and use dumbbells, come to our 30-minute fit class. Or you're really sore, you want to come to sweat and stretch, or you want to do yoga. So we're looking at a model that's still community-based, not Genesis where you got 5,000 members and nobody knows who you are, cares who you are. They hope you don't show up, right? So we're trying to create a model where we know who you are, we know what you're after, but you have some variety.
And you have, are these going to be classes like, isn't a perfect world we're going to be running these classes simultaneously?
We're running 5 classes at once right now.
Already doing 5 at once.
It's a huge building, dude. And they got it upstairs. Awesome. They got it's a multi-level. Like your downstairs is multi-level.
As someone who's brand new to doing these Orange Theory classes on a consistent basis, I see that they have, like, for example, strength classes, but it's like one strength class a day at this very specific time. And if your schedule doesn't line up with that, well, can't do that class.
Classes, or we have 18 classes a day, something like
that. Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah.
So to answer your question is we're doing really well on a lot of different things, but we're still trying to figure it out and get it dialed so that we talk about kids and we talk about, marriage and I want our people to be happy when they go home and not bringing baggage of me. Like, I am the compulsive entrepreneur that wants to just keep driving this thing forward, and I don't care who gets in the way. You know what I mean? Like that is like probably who I would be at my worst. And I'm going to hurt some feelings along the way, and I'm going to ruin my family, and I'm going to be single, and I'll have this big business. So what? What are you going to do with it? I think the way we look at it right now is like, let's absolutely nail what we have. We have this amazing community, super supportive, a great team. Continue to dial it in, and then when it's time to open that next location, like, we have to. Like, it's rolled out.
Everything will be perfect.
It's rolled out and as perfect as it can be. You can't plan for everything, but instead of going to try to open that second location and like really try to force a square peg into a round hole,
copy paste.
Yeah. We want to be just overtly ready.
So saying that, is the possibility of franchising like something you guys have thought about?
It would probably be the real estate model where we want to own the ground. And the reason I say that is we're not here if we don't own the building from COVID. Like, we would have got wiped out. And the fact that we were able to be flexible with our rent payments literally saved the business. So I don't want to do that again. So would I love to have, 100 franchisees or whatever? Sure. Maybe else.
It kind of goes against what you just said, which is basically like the, wanting it to fit with your life.
Yeah, but not my life, her life, and everybody else that's on the team. So
not to mention the community.
Well, if we can then go out and buy another building, that plants our roots in that place, and we know that we're going to be there. And
you're officially a local business.
It's a different feel for me than pop. Open up a bunch of 4,000 square foot facilities.
Yeah.
So it's on our 3 and 10 year plan to open more locations, but it's we want to just do it really well.
What I want to talk about something you guys do that's pretty unique to your gym, but I just love the thought process behind it, and that's the Hero Week that you guys do. Which, can you guys explain, what that is and what maybe a hero workout is for somebody who's never heard of it?
Well, you have to hear from who actually ran the show.
Yeah. It's one of my favorite weeks of the year.
Same.
It's just crazy that the energy, the vibe of the entire community. And again, this goes back to, can you lift 5 pounds? Can you lift 300 pounds? No one cares, but you're going to come in and do the hardest version of yourself. So what happens is we have 7 days. It's a whole week before Memorial Week or before Memorial Day. We plan 5 hero workouts. And this comes from our programmer who picked the 5 workouts this year. A hero workout is named after a fallen soldier that is on CrossFit.com. So we will pick 5 of these hard workouts. You have 7 days to do them. Most people do them Monday through Friday when we program them in the gym. Everyone does them, whatever version that is for you. But during this time, you're doing the workout because you can do hard things. Your hardest version of yourself, again, that day. And then when it comes to it, in the background of this, we're raising so much money for, again, this year we went to veteran suicide. In the past, we've raised money for veterans to have service dogs. And we got 4 service dogs. Service dogs are $10,000 for these veterans to get. So sometimes they can't afford that. So like, we raised $40,000 2 years ago to get 4 dogs. This year we raised about $16,000 for veteran suicide, to provide to their families, to provide to the mental health, all that kind of stuff.
And you guys are doing that through, you sell shirts that are...
So this is the fun part. You have to complete all 5 workouts within those 7 days. Again, whatever version that is, if you complete all 5 of them and log them in our system, you earn your shirt.
Okay.
If you do all 5 workouts and you don't log them, you don't get a shirt. We are very, very strict on this. It is an earned shirt.
It's a badge of honor.
It is a badge of honor, you wearing that shirt around. Like, that shows that you did, your version, but you did a hard version, a hard week together. And we've even brought this into like our programming. The 3 weeks prior focuses on getting you ready. Yeah. So it's like, everyone's like, okay, there's a lot of thrusters this year, so we're going to just like really work on our thrusters. Like, you just see the energy happening the whole month of May.
So does it end on Murph, or does it start on Murph?
Yeah. So
ends with Murph.
For people listening, a hero workout, the way I understand it, or the way I see it, is just terrible programming.
Yeah.
So it's way too much volume and it's way too much weight. And if the workout is like 5 rounds, after you've done the first round, you're like,
oh my God, yeah,
that
one this year.
I can't do another round.
Yeah.
That's a hero workout. That's what it feels like. So Murph, which a lot of people have heard of, is a mile run, 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, 300 air squats, and then a mile run. You would never do that in a class because it's stupid.
Yeah.
It's a great workout. I love the workout, so I don't want to offend anybody. Mm-hmm. But you would program like, a 800 meter run, and then like 10 rounds of 5, 10, 15, and then an 800 meter run. Yeah. That would be like a nice workout for the day. So hero workouts are just amped up, and it's the energy that you feel is like the first week of like training camp. Mm-hmm. If you've ever played a sport, like that first week, we are all in it together. Everything hurts. Mm-hmm. We're sore.
Group struggle.
Yes.
Yeah, and so that's to me, that the week is way more fun because we're all in it together, and we're not competing. Like, I kind of want to go as fast.
No, it's just doing something that sucks together.
Yeah.
Which brings the community closer.
Embracing the suck.
Yes.
Right.
And also for a good cause.
And for a good
I was going to
cause.
say, how do we tie this in with the raising of the money?
So everybody contributes. So they sign up, and they can either contribute the minimum, which is basically purchasing the shirt, or they can add a zero to it and contribute towards the cause.
Very cool.
Very
cool.
Very
that's
cool,
all it comes down to. Yeah.
Yeah, Murph. If anybody's never done Murph, every year that I do it, I always think like it's got to get easier this year. But every time it sucks. It's crazy.
And the reason we went to the week is we feel Memorial Day. Great. We celebrate a day, and then maybe we have Veterans Day, but a day doesn't do justice, for the people who have given the ultimate sacrifice. So we can sit here, on a Thursday afternoon and talk about whatever we want to talk about.
That's incredible, yeah.
So a week of kind of getting after it, and for people to know, like, if your workout today is the hardest thing you do today, life is pretty good.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Okay.
I would also encourage anybody that's listening to this, if you're interested in doing, hero workouts, to really read the stories that are behind them.
Yeah.
Because, that makes such a bigger impact for when you're doing the workout, because they're meant to suck. They're basically meant for you to be about halfway through and be like, what the hell am I doing? Mm-hmm. And it's basically to reflect on like, well, once you read the story that's behind it, it makes it a little bit easier to continue to push through it.
Especially reflecting while you're in the middle of that suck. And you're just, it's nice to reflect during that time.
Right where you put on like your shoes in the gym and stuff, we post the story of that fallen soldier, so that like, hey, right before you do this, you're going to read about this person, and then you're going to go embrace.
That's very cool that you guys do that.
Oh yeah. And via social media as well. Like, we want you to learn about these individuals that we've chosen. Like, Murph is a given every year, so there's always 4 new ones that we introduce, and we haven't repeated any of those 4 so far. And this year we introduced our first like female hero workout, and so
we did a partner hero
and a partner one. The partner one was really fun.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So I
don't know if I've ever done a partner hero workout.
It was fun.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Fun.
Air quotes.
That's right.
Fun. Good start to the week.
Fun.
Yeah.
We've experienced, I feel like, another recent trend in the last couple of years as far as in fitness, and you guys have been a proprietor of using, is cold plunge. And so I see your guys' gym got a cold plunge, and we've been around for the advent of like, foam rolling being very popular, or then, there's like the Theragun, if you will, just the different types of guns that help with massaging out things. And then you got cold plunges. Out of all of these different forms of recovery. What is your guys' favorite, and what have you guys seen as far as the advantages it's done for your members?
You guys got sauna too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. My favorite is cold plunge. It's the hardest thing to do, but it's my favorite. I get the most benefit out of it. Like just the other day, I went and ran sprints with my fiance because he's playing in a flag football tournament this weekend, and we acted like we were college athletes again. And
so let's go.
Oh my god.
Where is this flag football tournament?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, dude.
Get a freaking team together.
So again, trying to prevent injuries for him because he has not done stuff like this in a while. We go and run sprints, and both of us look at each other afterwards, and we were like, we got to go cold plunge because we are both going to be so sore the next day. One, it was really hot out too, so two, it was like felt good doing it. But me personally, the cold plunge is my favorite amenity that we offer. But I love that our sauna and cold plunge are right next to each other. So we suggest the hot and cold therapy. Mm-hmm. Like go in the sauna for 5 minutes, get in the cold plunge for a minute or 2 minutes, and then rinse and repeat. Always end with cold, but I think that having both of those amenities for people is really good for us to have. It's something that it's.
Do people have to sign up to use it?
No. And
it's there.
Cool.
It's used all day. It's great. And we haven't run into, the busyness. Like we can fit 8 people in our sauna. You can fit 8 people unless you don't like the sweaty people next to you. It's probably
has anybody ever done a twofer in the cold plunge?
Oh yeah. You can fit 2 people in there.
Yeah.
But our cold plunge we got the bigger version now. So the tall people, they like this because now their whole body can fit in there too.
Right, they can go neck deep.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Cold plunge definitely gives you the rush of endorphins where you feel like kind of high afterwards.
Oh yeah,
I
love that feeling.
Yeah, for a while afterwards.
What's high being like, Kyle?
You know what I'm saying. I don't know anything about that. I'm just saying. You feel really good for an extended period of time afterwards.
Before John says his favorite, another amenity that I actually am a huge component of is our infrared lights. So we have infrared in our yoga studio, and I coach Burn Fit in there. And me coaching in there, I'm in there for a couple hours, but I feel the after effect like hours later. Like I don't know, I feel this like release and I feel good and I've got this energy later on.
So are they lights like you would do like
infrared heaters?
Yeah, okay. So like you would do hot yoga?
Panels. Yeah, the panels on our ceiling. And it's just a different type of heat. Like, sure, when you're in there, you're sweating.
And you crank those things up for like your burn classes that are like high intensity?
And for yoga as well.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So that's one of my favorite things. Is it the same as red light? Like if I'm getting red light therapy during set?
It's far infrared. Far infrared waves. Yeah. So it's detoxifying.
Got it.
Let's go.
Yeah.
That's pretty unique in itself that you guys do that.
You guys do in-house competitions as well, don't you?
We do. We have.
I feel like I've seen you guys have done one in the past. Is that something you guys are going to do recurring?
We're literally debating it right now.
Literally.
And glad I'm asking all these questions you talked about today.
No, it's great because it's something for us to consider. Like, is that what our community wants, or is that what other people want to come in and be able to do? So I think so many people in our gym are, we want to compete. Like we talk about Hero Week, like something for the greater good. There's a very small percentage of our demographic that has it together enough to where they can risk it for the biscuit and compete, and like be okay knocking themselves out or getting hurt or whatever. There's very few people that we have in our demographic that can handle that. Most of us, like myself, if I'm going to compete, I'm doing a triathlon in a couple weeks.
Right. It's a you versus you.
I don't think I'm going to die. I'm probably not going to get hurt. But I'm not going to, crush myself where I can't walk for a week or snap my back or whatever. So we're honestly debating that right now. Or if we do like a dry try every year, which is a fun partner, group competition. It's something that we're trying to work our way through right now.
Because when I say in-house, I mean it's just amongst your members only. We're not inviting any outsiders.
We've done outside versions in the past. And
last year I was supposed to do you guys' comp, but talk about snapping your back. I snapped my back and pulled out.
So
even speaking of that, like comparing our gym, I think your gym had more teams at our
I believe
our competition. You know, like we're just.
You guys had like 8 teams.
Yeah,
yeah, we had a lot of people that came.
You guys brought the whole RV and
squad.
everything. Yeah.
It's because Nathan was like, he looked at it and he was like, dude, we should do this. That's what I was supposed to compete with. It was Nathan, and he's like, we should do this comp. It'd be cool. And then like everybody, you know, in CrossFit, it's like once one person starts doing it, it's like, oh hey, like
I'm looking for something to chase,
yeah,
something to go after. It's kind of an event, but I really have always, you know, it's your guys' model reminds me of, to a certain degree, not for any other reason besides you guys. You know, you have your individuality outside of the CrossFit name. And Iron Tribe, when they first came to Kansas City, I loved how they paid their coaches full time. They like tackled all the same issues that you had, you know, discussed prior. It didn't work out for them long term, and they were trying to franchise Iron Tribe over CrossFit. And but they paid all of their coaches a full time salary, in the sense of, you know, they only had like 2 or 3 coaches. They were there every day, but they only did in-house competitions. And I really liked their PR week that they did as well. They did like a couple of them a year, and it would just be like, doesn't matter where you're at, but we're going to celebrate everybody trying to, you know, obviously hit a new PR in something. And it didn't have to be the same exercise. Like, so you might be trying to hit your back squat, somebody else trying to hit a front squat, whatever it may be.
She talked about ice bath, and I
Please do.
John loves ice bath.
He's like, let me tell you about
the amenities. Yeah, no, for sure.
You have one in your house now, right?
I do, and I use it every morning.
Yep.
First thing.
What did you buy it or did you make it? Is it worth the buy?
So I went. Have you guys heard of Wim Hof?
Yeah.
So I went and trained with him in Poland.
Oh, you did the thing?
Kidding?
Oh, you did the whole.
Oh boy.
Yeah. I love
Bro,
it.
you're really into it.
Yeah, the
because he
retreat
does
back
some crazy stuff.
like 15 minutes.
He does. We did some things that I hope nobody else ever does.
Yeah.
Like
we came really close to hypothermia.
No, we jumped off a waterfall in the woods. Like somebody almost slipped and died, and we're like, I hope they never let anybody else do this. Yeah, we did some wild stuff in rivers and Mount Śnieżka in Poland. Anyway, so yeah, I've been a huge proponent of cold, but the reason I got into it was the breath work, and then like the cold was kind of like you do the breath work and then you do the cold exposure, and it's all about like regulating your nervous system. But to me, the cold in the morning for me is my shot of espresso. Bam, I'm ready to rock and roll. I love it. I love it for recovery also. I used in the past. I had a chest freezer. And then I caulked up all the seams in a chest freezer and had a little temperature regulator on it. And then, yes, for the people who are worried about me getting electrocuted, I would unplug it before I get in just to make sure. But then I got one of our reject plunges. That was like the brand is Plunge, so shout out to Plunge, but they need to make a better.
They also,
so it's not totally commercial yet. So we have a King Cool now, which is the bomb, and
they are awesome.
I would say if you're going the poor man's route, which is the chest freezer, it'd be the best $1,000 you ever spend.
Yeah,
ever.
Yeah, so you get right out of bed and you just go crawl into that thing right away.
Full submerge, head under the water for 20 seconds.
For those that have never done an ice bath before, that's hardcore.
That is hardcore.
What's the
just get up and go straight in.
39.
39
to 42, I think is the.
Oh man,
I had to set it.
Ooh, yeah, yours is cold.
When you did the
one in the gym is 48.
That's much better.
My only experience with watching is it's Wim Hof. Did I say
Wim Hof?
Wim Hof. Sorry, when I watched Wim Hof's one of his like retreats, the old if you guys remember like the R&B singer Mike Posner. He actually went out and did the guy that's saying "You think you're cooler than me" or whatever.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
So that guy, you know, he was like basically a one-hit wonder, and then that whole song "I Took a Pill in Ibiza," which was like a huge hit, came from him being like ridiculously depressed because he was no longer relevant. And so, anyways, he was like reinventing himself and doing a self-discovery, and part of that was he went out there and did the cold therapy with him, and they were like chanting a song. Like as they were sitting in the cold for like 15 minutes. And it was like they were singing together as like a bunch of dudes just trying to like stay warm. And I didn't know if you had any experience like that, but it was like, how long were you submerged like that?
So that we didn't do a lot of, probably 5 minutes was the longest we did. We had it like a group unit where we were all like locked in arms in this river. where the water was like 32 degrees.
And it's rushing at you, so it's really cold, right?
It's like freezing water. The last morning we woke up in the dark, so we had to leave early, and we're like, we got to go in the river one more time. So we wake up really early, we run out, and we can't see that, like, we didn't really have flashlights, or we'd kind of set our flashlights down, and we get up on this little cliff that we're about to jump off, and we don't hear any water. And we're like, that doesn't seem right. Like, somebody get a flashlight. And so we throw the guy the flashlight who's about to jump, and he's like, it's frozen.
Oh.
So, like, the ice was 3 inches thick just from overnight, and we were there that previous day. So the water was very cold. But anyway, to answer your question, we did some 5-minute stuff in water. But the hard part of that is your clothes and shoes are 50 yards up the hill. So you took your clothes off, you took your shoes off, you walked down the hill. It's been several minutes. You're waiting for your partner to come with you, and then you get in the water.
Where's the requirement of taking the clothes off 50 yards away? Why are we not just going to Riverside?
It was this like huge like boulders and rocks everywhere. Like there's no safe place because you got to plan for what it's like when you're numb.
Got it.
So you don't want to be standing and trying to balance on a frozen rock and slipping, trying to put your shoes on. So you always plan for your evac.
Keep your dry stuff far away.
Yeah, where it's flat.
Yeah,
it's where you could sit down and put your stuff on. So anyway, so we we did some nice exposures in the rivers, but then the main event of that week was you climb this mountain with your shirt off. So you basically have swim shorts on and your shirt off, and you climb Mount Snezka. And it was like 14 degrees when we started, and the whole deal is like you're supposed to get frostbite or whatever. Like you're gonna die if you expose your skin for this long. But the whole method was like learning how to control your warmth through your breathing. So we literally just like I did not notice a single thing for this 3-hour hike all the way up this mountain. You're just looking at the feet in front of you and.
Is it basically nasal breathing the whole time?
Yeah, at least in the nose and out the mouth if you have to. Yeah. But so it's just a really focused, like meditative experience. And did
your wife do that with you?
She did not. She, I love you, Brittany. She had a 4-month-old at home.
I'm sure.
So, I was like, is your wife a psycho too?
She is. She's down with the ice bath. But our first was born, and the only reason I got to go on that trip was because my buddy. Anyway, we were putting it together, and she's like, "You're not going." I go, "Well, what if Mike's dad goes? What if Mario goes?" And she's like, "Oh, Mario would." He's like 70 years old.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Mario would never go. If Mario goes, you can go." And I was like,
"Oh,
done deal."
And I walk away, and like you said it, I go,
on the
Mike,
phone.
Your dad has to go on this trip. So anyway, so he got him to go along, and I got to go on the trip.
That's so cool.
So anyway, long story short, cold exposure is a big deal. You don't have to have an ice bath. And it's not just for body composition, though it helps with body composition. It helps with burning blood sugar. It helps with regulating your hormones. It helps with vasoconstriction and improving blood circulation in your extremities. But to me, it's just doing something that's hard.
Yeah,
to start the day.
Yeah, and it's like or if you do it first thing in the day, great. If you do it later in the day, great. But it's just taking that. Practicing that over and over again, and that's the same thing, with fitness for us is like just that continual practice of doing things that are hard, because something hard is going to happen to you at some point in time, and if you have practice handling it, you're going to be able to handle it that much better.
There's one of my I wish I could remember this saying, but it was more or less just someone I really admire quoted this as saying basically when you're having a tough time, like in your relationship with yourself, if you're just having just a tough day. Doing something hard will change how you perceive yourself in the relationship with the problem that you're feeling.
You'll respect yourself.
Exactly. And so, one of our friends, Lexi Johnson, she was just on this podcast last week, and she said, one time she posted herself, and it's like, I think a lot of people, unfortunately, are posting the cold plunge as like their way to look like a hard ass or whatever. They're not understanding like the full depth of the value. But she was the first person I saw that said like, I was having a really tough day today. Like I wasn't like in the way I looked in the mirror. So I did a cold plunge at like 1:32 p.m., sat in there for 3 minutes, and I had a totally different day afterwards.
That's when I prefer to plunge,
actually,
is the afternoon, because then it's kind of like my mental clarity. Like, you've been so busy all morning. I still have a lot to do at night. I'm going to go plunge. Like, here we go. Do it. And then I'm like, refresh.
It cleans the slate.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's how it feels.
Yeah.
Now, on an unhealthy note, we like to finish our podcast the same with everybody. And we simply like to ask everybody, we're in Kansas City right now, and everybody here obviously loves and is passionate about barbecue. You maybe not. We've had some guests who just like,
you just made me hungry.
I
literally.
I don't hey dude, we have some unbelievable amount of barbecue here, but if you guys had to pick one spot to bring a family or friend, if they are in town, where do you bring them? And you only get to choose one.
Oh, but okay, can I explain my answer?
You absolutely can.
Okay. If it's to go or for catering.
I love this. I'm already excited.
I thought you were going to go meats and sides.
Yeah.
Because that's where I'm going.
Yeah, that's you've seen
Sudeikis. As a family, growing up, if it's like to go or catering, we always do Jack Stack.
I was going to guess Jack Stack for
the
to go. They're to go.
It's always just
a well-run place.
It is. They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
But if I have like a friend coming in town, we're going to the restaurant. It's Joe's.
Ah, okay.
Respect. You waiting in the line, or are you like?
Always.
Are you savvy?
Yeah. No. Oh, now I go to the gas station one for sure. Yeah.
So I would echo what Amanda said for to go. I like Jack Stack's fries. They're kind of fantastic. Well, yeah. If
Joe's fries are pretty good too.
They're amazing. Yeah. But if I have somebody in town, I'd take them to Q39.
Yeah.
The original one. Yeah.
You just can't mess that up.
You can't screw it up.
Does the best like restaurant atmosphere. Even though it's Jack Stack is actually pretty good too.
Yeah.
You know, they do the restaurant
on the
experience
plaza,
well.
Yeah, it's really nice. Yeah.
I mean, there's what do you call it? Like the Freight House District in downtown.
Mm-hmm. That one's
it's killer.
That one's really cool.
But I would love to hear your answer, John, on the sides versus the meats.
I prefer Jack Stack's sides.
Yes.
And I like Q39's meats.
The cheesy corn.
You know what? I fully agree with that
statement. Actually, Q39 has a really good cornbread.
No, they don't.
They took it off the menu.
They took it off the menu.
No, they don't.
Jeff, Jeff knows Q39's menu pretty well.
Are you serious?
Yeah, dude. I sent a very strongly worded letter.
Did they really?
Yes, dude.
Oh, that's terrible.
Hey, in my history, it's been a minute since I've been back. They might have brought it back because of the rage between me and everybody else out there.
I hope they have.
The the jalapeno at Jack Stack still going strong.
Okay.
If you guys are you a cornbread fan?
Yes.
Okay, so the best cornbread in Kansas City is at Burnt End Barbecue, and they have these cornbread bites. Hear me out.
Why are we talking about food
right now?
Because it's been a minute for us all. Yeah. But the cornbread bites are like fried cornbread, like on all the sides. So the top, every part of it. Yes, and it comes with like drawn butter, basically.
Remember guardrails.
But they're like, exactly. Yeah, here's the guardrails. They only come with 4 in a bag.
Yeah,
and they're like they're like croutons.
Protect you from yourself.
That's right. But they're like $4 or something like that. But the cornbread bites at Burn In Barbecue are like life-changing cornbread. If you like it, go for it. Also, they got rid of the pork belly corn dogs that were at Q39, which were like the best thing ever. They were just bacon dipped in maple syrup and like pancake batter or something. They got rid of those.
Again, guardrails.
Yeah. But those are some of the best things. And they were like, I don't know what Q39's doing. They brought in like buffalo cauliflower, got rid of cornbread.
It's almost like.
And the last question we'll ask you for Kyle's sake, is cornbread a Thanksgiving side? John first.
Not in the Rowley family.
No.
Not in the Nelson family.
Oh! Come on.
All right, I lost that one.
Here's the thing. It actually, if you look it up, it is a traditional Thanksgiving food, but I said nobody does it. Nobody does it.
Bread rolls.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we do rolls.
Yeah.
Mine are cornbread rolls.
Yeah.
Anyways, everybody make sure you eat healthy.
That's right. Cornbread bites.
Anyways,
hey, we love you guys.
Thank you guys for coming on. Really Hey, where can people find you? Like on social media?
2020fit.com.
Okay.
And then 2020.fit on the social medias.
Yep.
Perfect. And if somebody wants to come in and check out a class, they just drop by the gym. Free week.
So if they go to the website, you'll see it blasted in front of your face. Click here, sign up for a free week.
Trial.
Last question
Protein
I have.
Bros listeners only, actually.
If somebody was wanting to do Hero Week, do you do outside?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Okay,
yep.
cool.
Yep. They can donate as well for that as well, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So do they do them in the gym? You have to do it in the gym.
Yep.
So they basically sign up for a week at the gym.
Just do a week drop.
Donate some money and you're good.
Dope. Yeah. Okay. Well, cool. Thank you guys for coming on. Really appreciate talking to you.
Thanks for having us.
Pleasure, man.
Yep.
Yeah.